Welcome to Shot of Hope Live. I am your host, Mickey the Kid, stopping in, ready to go. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the recovering mothers out there. And, hey, we're broadcasting, just so you know. But happy Mother's Day to all you ladies out there that are getting clean. You got your kids for Mother's Day. You're in the process if you're struggling. God, man, it's such a huge responsibility and so hard for women to want to be moms. Here, pass that over there. There we go. And it's tough. It's tough, and then to have a drug addiction problem is a completely different set of things. What are you trying to do? You trying to adjust the camera? Yeah. I mean, you got the whole couch to yourself. You're gonna hate now. It's cutting off half your head. Yeah. You're probably gonna want to raise that. There you go. Let's see where that gets. Yeah, hey, there he is. He's full in. But, again, happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there that, are trying to make it happen or have been making it happen in your recovery for the last few years or whatever you're doing. And keep going. Keep going. Young Money, what's good?
Nothing. Sitting here with Conehead.
Yeah, old Konski. Yeah. Everybody can see that's our baby kitty. Her name is I forget what her name is. We call her Squibs. She had a name at one point. My stepson named her, and then it was some ridiculous name. So we're just like, hey, quit smashing the bottom. There you go. We named her Squibs, and so every time we see her, it's hey, Squibs. We yell for her. But she just got fixed recently after probably a week of just walking around the house moaning and just making noises and just being crazy. Then you got Fozzie, the dog. He just wants to get in the shot. Everybody's getting in. We got an incredible menagerie here at the Shot of Hope Live Estates. And, we've got 6 cats, an African gray parrot, which you can probably hear in the background, and then the dog, the Australian Shepherd / Great Pyrenees. And that's it. And then the 2 grown boys and 2 adults. June, what's good?
Nothing.
Yeah? You gonna sit back and relax, or?
I am relaxed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you look like you're fully engulfed over here. You got the dog. Just absolutely everybody's distracting you right now.
Pretty much.
Man. Today's show I wanted to talk about. I guess the 3 G's and the importance of all 3 of the G's in our life. And the first G in this whole thing is
God.
Yeah, you already know. I didn't even have to say it. You already knew what the first one is.
Yeah.
And to me, and I can only speak for me. I can't speak for anybody else out there because you have agnostics, you have atheists, you have people that just don't believe. But for me, I believe in God. My higher power is who I choose to call God. And that God piece, let me tell you something. Ever since I incorporated the God piece in my life, in my recovery, my life has always been great. As I tell everybody, I haven't had a bad day in nearly 6 years. And I've had a bad 15 minutes. I've had a bad half hour. I've had a bad hour. But I have never had an entirely full bad day because I got God in my life. I don't know what you're doing. You're touching a button or something on that microphone.
Not touching anything.
Okay, it's just it's going like the Buzz City. Just hold it like a man, Just give it. Yeah, there you go. Give it a full squeeze. There it is. Then it doesn't vibrate for some reason. It doesn't do that. But whenever you set it down like on your lap with the cord.
Invest in a mic stand.
Yeah, we're getting one. We're gonna order one. I promise you. But back to the God piece, as I was talking about a second ago, that God piece has been for 6 years the biggest piece. I think it plays the biggest role in your recovery, and it's interesting because God isn't mentioned until step 3. Kind of mentioned in step 2 where it says, "Came to believe that power greater than myself could restore me to sanity." Whatever that power is. And then you hear these sponsors go, "I don't care, make the doorknob your fucking higher power." It's like a doorknob isn't going to keep it clean, man. I'm sorry. It's not. I hear those guys say that shit, and I'm just like, you're not being sensible. You're not being realistic. There's no realistic, connotation to what you're saying to the guy who's on the other end who's just trying to find something. Like for you, what was your pinnacle moment, Jake, for the God piece? I mean, you were in Silver Maple.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, man, I really need you to show up for this one.
Yeah.
What was that again?
Not exactly what happened, but when I was in Silver Maple, I was just struggling in there, and I was like, yeah, because I had stuff going on with the court, and they were trying to drag me into
Deep waters.
Yeah, they were trying to get me out of treatment, and they wanted me to go turn myself in, and and then I called my lawyer that day, and just so happens that that I think it was the day after that, he got my everything lifted, everything taken care of, and I was just like, man. I think that morning I asked him, like, can you just show me something? So just
You're here in my life.
anything.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and that was just like a bunch of weight lifted off my shoulders, and that was kind of like a aha moment, kind of.
Any other any other things that have happened in your life that you can't explain?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about that. I mean,
Like
there was a time with the overdose in the parking lot of the hotel. I was in a parking lot. There was just cars all around me. I was in my car, and I overdosed, and there was nobody in that parking lot, not even near me. I was in the middle between cars in my car, and I knew I was going to overdose, and I got out of the car, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, I should probably try and make it somewhere, but then I was just like, dude, fuck it, and I just sat back in my car, and I just accepted what was going to happen, and then I woke up in an ambulance. I don't know how somebody found me. It was absolutely
Remote?
Huh?
Was it remote or
mean?
away from people? Were you remotely away from people?
Yeah, like it was in a hotel parking lot, but it was just a huge parking lot, and there was just cars all around me that were parked. I don't know how somebody found me or saw me, but they did.
Sometimes God sends, if you believe, again, I believe that everything happens. There's a reason you have a greater purpose.
Yeah.
That you're still here after, numerous overdoses. That there's something you have to fulfill before He's ready for you, I believe.
Yeah.
At least that's in my life, and I've seen God show up so many ways, and it's crazy because I tell people, on the God piece, it's like, man, picture your life as a highway, and you know how you see like road signs, and you always remember where you are when you see that road sign. And you're like, oh yeah, man, we're only like 5 minutes till we get off at the exit or whatever. So those road signs, like I can picture everything that led me to every moment in my life. You know what I'm saying? They were like the exit ramps at different parts of my life. I got off at, and then I got back on, and then there was another. I saw that other sign, that road sign, and it reminded me that, oh yeah, God was here, and that I'm getting off up at this next exit. And I can't tell you how many times. I mean, I can go back pretty far in my life, probably to like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, and can see all the things where I had nothing to do with what happened.
Yeah.
And that special moment in time that I just can't explain. The biggest one I always love to tell people is the one, where I tried connecting with you on MySpace when you were younger.
Yeah.
And you're like, F you, dude, you're a drug addict, you're an alcoholic, blah, blah, blah. I've heard all about you. My mom told me blah, 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 blah. I never want to talk to you. Don't contact me anymore here. And I would write back to you, I love you from afar till I can love you close someday. And then I remember I was in Albany, New York doing radio. I was a morning radio personality on a really great show up there in Albany, New York called Waking Up with the Wolf. And we were coming back from there, from Pix 106. We were headed into Cleveland to my sister's house for Easter. And, I just remember Good Friday. We got in Good Friday afternoon, late afternoon, and we were hanging out with my sister. And I remember that night before bed, it was like 11 o'clock, dude. It was right before midnight. And I remember kneeling down next to the bed, and I remember this prayer, and I can remember how I said it word for word, and I'll say it to you here. I remember saying, Heavenly Father, I remember this is the weekend that you were reunited with your son. I can only hope to someday be reunited with mine when you feel that the time is ready. For now, I will continue to love him from afar till I can love him close someday. God, I love you. Good night. Amen. And I was like 3 years sober at that time, or going on 3 years at that time. And the next day, Shauna and I, my wife and I, are out at Big Lots, and we're just like looking for Easter baskets for my niece and or for my nephew at that time, and getting some cool Easter stuff for the kids. And I remember Shauna getting that message from you, and it was a message that said, "I want to see my dad."
Yeah.
And that was like, I prayed the night before, and all of a sudden this shit just happened. I was like, what the? I'm like, that was fast. I'm like, that's like the fastest one. And I could give you, since 2000 and, what was that, 2009, I believe. Since 2008, there has been so many more since then, you know, that I could go on and go on and go on, and just even in my current future of things that have happened that have been absolutely that beautiful. And the way I got to the whole God piece is because in 2007, when I first got clean, I had this guy, Bill G., who you remember. He used to be your basketball coach at Mariner. He was the gym teacher at Mariner or something like that. What did
Can't remember.
Mr. G do? He was. I remember. I thought he taught phys ed or some class.
I know.
Yeah, Bill G. Bill Grotecki.
Oh, yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, Jake. You know how he.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. G. always asked about you. But he was my sponsor at the time in early recovery, and I remember when I first started, he was just like, "Hey, look, do me a favor." He said, "I know you're struggling and believing in God." He said, "Do me a favor." He said, "Just every night, kneel down next to your bed and ask God to keep you, safe, sober, and sane." Because I was in AA at the time, and he said, "Ask him to let you do His will and not yours, and to keep you honest with every and all person in your life." He said, "Do that for 2 weeks." He said, "And then let's reconvene." And he said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "If after 2 weeks you don't feel that your life has gotten better and that God is somewhat present in your life, feel free to stop, man. He'll happily refund your misery." And I was just like, "Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. I'll take that." So that's how I got started on my prayer journey. Got started on my finding God journey, because I blame God for all the abuse I experienced when I was a kid, the traumas I had happen. My sister at 6 years old being taken from our family. She was Down syndrome, had a bad heart. She only got to live to be 6 years old, and I just kept blaming God. I was just always blaming, and some people made it a point of saying to me, you have to understand that you can't have God and not have evil. You have to have. Bad stuff happens to good people, unfortunately. And it's because neither of the two, God has nothing to do. God gave man free will. He said, "Here, you take this. I'm just going to put you on the planet. I got a really great purpose for you. And if you can figure it out, what I have planned for you, you're going to find out. By connecting with me, your life is going to get better." Sure enough, at age 36 is when I first started that journey. My life has gotten tremendously better. And here I am at age 54, probably living my best life at this point. And you with a year. I mean, who'd have thought you didn't even think you could get a year, an honest year, clean.
I thought I was gonna die using or just keep going.
Yeah.
I never didn't think it was gonna happen.
And we have such a good sponsorship family. I mean, we have I've got so many good people in my life. One of them being Chris down in Florida, who I talk to regularly. Probably I like to consider him my sponsor. Just because we talk so often, we have so much in common. Even though my other sponsor, Mark, was really great, he's a busy guy, and he just doesn't have the kind of time that he needs, to talk. So Chris and I talk regularly, and we have too much in common. So that's where that piece connects, And this whole thing is it's a we thing. It's not an I thing, because the minute I try to do this on my own, I know what's going to happen. The anger and frustration come back. The spiritual malady returns. The mental obsession starts up, and I'm getting high.
Yeah.
Put one in. Let me get a 50. Let's just start with 50. I'm only going to do 50 tonight. Yeah. And there I am at 500 later, by the end of the night. So that's the first piece, is the God piece. And the second piece on that is the gratitude. So, and when I talk about that, it's so by the way, if you wanted to call the show, just so you know, it's 803-526-7858. If you're watching us on YouTube or whatnot, that's where you're going to be able to catch us. 803-526-7858. 888-878-5858. And, yeah, give us a shout, man. We're always open to talking to people and, and hearing what you got going on. Maybe you got a good God story or a good growth story. I would love to hear it. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to give us a shout over here. But the gratitude piece, I mean, I think that's the second catalyst, in the G's department, because I think the three things that you have to have, and most importantly in your recovery, is first of all the willingness, the honesty, the open-mindedness, and the gratitude. And the only way I get to gratitude is through having a God or of my understanding, higher power in my life. Yeah. And if you're not ready to call him God, call him whatever. Call him Herb, call him Frank, whatever it takes for you. But that's the gratitude. I find that every day I start my day with gratitude. My attitude is fantastic. And a man once told me that. He's like, the GR in gratitude stands for great attitude. And that's a big component for me today. I mean, obviously you see how your life is with gratitude. I mean, look at all the gratitude you've got in your life, and look at how much better it's getting already. And so that's the big piece, man. That gratitude thing is, man, I'm grateful for a lot of stuff. I mean, for instance, I don't know how most people are out there, but I know for me, when I open my eyes in the morning, the first thing I'm doing is I'm saying, thank you, God, for first of all another day of life. Number two, thank you for my health and my recovery, because without my health and my recovery, I can't do much after that. And then I thank him for my family and everything else that falls below that, job, finances, everything that he's taken care of in my life, my spiritual condition, your recovery. I thank him for that he had returned you to us in a decent enough form to where we could work with you, man. And it was I look at those things, and those things are huge, man. The gratitude piece is again, that's why I say it's the best. It's the second component, and it's a big one. It's a big one. Where are you at with your gratitude? Like, what are your things you're grateful for, the most in your life?
I just wrote on my stepmom's Mother's Day card how grateful I was for her. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for my family, God. What else am I grateful? I'm grateful for the rooms of NA.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm grateful for my sponsor, my health.
Got a lot of good people in your life too.
Grateful to be alive today.
If you think about where you were, go back 5 years.
Yeah.
Think about those people. Think about Harvard.
Yeah, living on Harvard.
Oh, Rust Areno. Yeah.
Yeah.
The good times.
Yeah.
The tree prunings.
Yeah.
The scrapping.
Yeah, doing whatever out
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful to wake up sober every day.
Yeah. No insanity.
Yeah.
That's got to be great, having no chaos.
Yeah. I'm grateful to wake up sober and not be dope sick.
Yeah.
I'm sober.
Yeah, or fighting with anybody, your girlfriend or the guy in the house or
chaos.
Yeah.
People on the streets, just all that dumb shit that comes with all that stuff.
Yeah. Your greatest worry is what cereal you're having in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's and the spoons aren't black underneath. What I mean?
That's the biggest.
It's a nice
cereal with a fork.
Yeah, cereal with a fork, exactly, because all the spoons are gone. Sorry, we got rid of those.
Yeah, pretty much.
But and I think you have found probably in your early recovery that the gratitude is obviously another big piece for you. If you think of where you could be, where you should be.
Yeah.
And where you're sitting.
Should be in prison or dead, for sure.
Yeah.
Those are the two, for sure.
Another great reason to be just, man, grateful. Freedom. Yeah. Grateful for the freedom, man. Dude, that's one thing that I know that when I got arrested for felony possession years ago, it was man, just that feeling of sitting in the bullpen and waiting and dialing for lawyers or dialing for bondsmen.
Yeah.
That is the absolute worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And then they're talking, come on, we're taking you upstairs if you don't get somebody down here. And then you finally get that bondsman on. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna get your bond ready. You'll be out of there by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're like,
whew. Crazy.
You know, and then, it's straight to the bondsman, swiping the card, and freedom.
I mean,
But I didn't even appreciate that, because I remember after I paid my bondsman, the first thing I did was I stopped by my dope dealer's house on my way to go, because I had already, when I got the felony possession, I didn't get fired yet, but they had questions.
Yeah.
And of course, me and every addict is, I bullshitted them and be like, dude, the dude in my car had the cocaine. I mean, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was, just trust me, man, this thing will all blow over. Just let me keep working.
Yeah.
Because I need to buy crack tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it was, or get an 18-pack of Rolling Rock. It was just the nature of the beast. But I can't tell you how grateful I am for freedom every day, man. And
if things wouldn't have went the way they went, I wouldn't have been getting out of prison until August of next year, from 2022. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
grateful for.
Yeah, and then God knows what you would have went through in there.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have been trying to change. That's for sure. If I was in there.
You'd have been doing one of two things. You'd either been getting in with all those dudes, or you'd be working out and sticking to yourself.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine, Josh down in Florida, and when he went in there, he said, dude, I just head down, straight to the weight room, just worked out, and just keep my head down, and he goes, I didn't want anything to do with those people, I just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And, that's another thing to be grateful for, obviously not being dope sick, not going through withdrawals of alcohol, or grand mal seizures, or any of the stuff that comes with our addiction. I just, thinking of who you're going to rob, cheat, and steal from to get, a couple bucks just so you could get one, 1, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits, not enough to get you through the night.
Yeah.
Get you a couple hours, until you got to figure out what you got to sell next, to get there. And yeah, it's never fun. It wasn't fun, man. I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for the struggle. I'll tell you that, the struggle to get from where I was to where I'm at, like what you're going through now.
Yeah.
Be grateful for that struggle, because it's going to teach you. Not only is it's going to teach you patience.
Yeah.
But it's like they say, iron sharpens iron. If you've ever heard that expression, and the harder you stay and the more it sharpens you, the more this will refine you to not make a lot of mistakes. Because you already know now it's one bad decision.
Yeah.
It's one bad decision, and then who knows what happens next, and that's for all of us.
That's what I never realized is one bad decision, and then
yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Well, I mean, the first DUI would have been most people would be like, oh man, I don't want to have that. We'll start Ubering, like a lot of guys that I know. Every guy that I knew that was an alcoholic or still an alcoholic, they just don't drive their car anymore. They take an Uber. They're like, fuck it, we're going to the bar and we're gonna burn the place down until 4.
Yeah.
And then we'll just get an Uber home, or we'll ride home with Jimmy. He can be the one responsible. And that's that's the delusion of everything's okay.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. Hey man, I didn't drive.
Yeah.
No problem. Didn't kill somebody tonight. I'm just killing myself. Don't mind me. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
So so the gratitude piece is, like I said, that's another big one. And the third G is, do you think you know what it is?
I was trying to.
So we got God and gratitude. And if you combine those two together, what happens?
I don't know. Tell me.
You grow.
Growth.
Growth. God, gratitude, and growth. And the way we grow is through change. The painful process of change. I always call it the painful process of change, because it is a painful process, because my true nature wants me to be this way, but I have to go this way because this is the way it should be.
Yeah.
As opposed to, doing things my way. Because when I start doing things my way, and I'm more of an asshole, I'm insensitive, I'm arrogant, and I, the more I keep listening to the Bible and doing things, and I'm just going down different roads, man, these days. Reading the book Inner Excellence, which is a fantastic book, Just little things like that are the things that have changed my life dramatically. You know, it's they've caused me to where I would blow up over something in the past to where I'm just now I can respond confidently and quietly without, you know, flipping out. Because there's times I don't want to melt down. There's dude, before I came up here, before we got in the studio, I was downstairs and Squibs with her cone knocked the whole bowl of food and water, the whole holder of food and water from the counter straight to the floor.
Yeah.
And I absolutely just wanted to flip out and go bananas.
Yeah.
And somehow Shauna was just like, just get the Tenneco Michael, you know, go in there, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's the growth piece, man. Because normally I'd be like, get this fucking cat out of here, and but lock him up in there and do this, and I would just be flipping the freak out, dude, just going absolutely bad shit. And as much as I want to do that, I feel that feels good to me. That's that feeling of my addict behavior.
Yeah.
That feels good. It's like, oh yeah, it felt good to get that out. Whew. You know, like a good fight. Like, you know, these hands are free and anybody could catch them. You know what I mean? Free all day. Buy one, get two free.
Yeah.
You know, however you want it.
Fades.
Yeah, free fades. That's it. We got some, say, try My Pillow. Yeah, I got My Pillow with this one and the other My Pillow. You know, we'll put you both to sleep nice and comfortably.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the other thing is that with the gratitude comes growth. Because if I have both of those, because if I've got God directing my life and I have gratitude for the life that I have, that means that I'm growing in a positive direction. If you can wrap your brain around that, you know, and where would you think that, as of currently, where do you think you've grown the most in your recovery?
I guess probably it's hard to say. Probably being like responsible. I mean and dependable now. I mean, I feel like, you know, I do as much as I can. You know, just
Definitely do a lot of that.
Try and help out. I'm a lot more. What's the word for that?
Selfless.
Yeah, selfless.
A lot more selfless.
Because everything was about me before. I didn't give a fuck about anybody before. I mean, now it's all I do is care for everybody else.
Yeah, you became a different person.
Yeah.
Well, and most importantly, you care for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, like, you're taking care of your health. Like, I mean, if you, God, man, the pictures you used to send me of, like, your arm all pussed out and just wrecked out.
Holes in my arm.
Yeah. Just, like, I mean, I would see these photos of you, or when I would ever get a chance to see you either online or in person, I'd just be like, God. You know, it's like, wow. And now I look at you today, you know, you're 165 pounds, you're putting on muscle, you're going to the gym, you know, 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
You're eating good. You know, you're taking care of yourself. You look great. You know, you got a good attitude most days. You know, 90% and 95% of your days, you're in a great mood.
Yeah.
And then you have those, you know, 5% moments that last 15 minutes to an hour, or they come and go throughout your day that they're fleeting.
Right.
You know, and I think that's the biggest part where I've seen you grow a little bit is that I could see you go from being in your head and having those moments of, you know, frustration and irritability because things aren't happening as fast as you'd like them to where it's like, okay, well, I can only do so much.
Powerless overall.
I'm going to have to leave the results to God at this point.
I can do.
Yeah. And then if you pray about all that stuff every night, dude, you know, I mean, those are where you when you're directing your prayers at night, that's what I would be directing, is asking God to help you for answers, help you see the answers that He's trying to teach you right now. Because it's one of two things. As my dad used to say, your grandfather, he used to say, he said, you're either focused on one of the two. He said, you're either focused on the mess or the message.
Yeah.
You know, and so if I focus on the mess, I'm never going to get to understand what I'm supposed to be learning in this opportunity. And that was one of the greatest things that he taught me. And that was in my early, you know, my second phase, you know, in 2019 when I was staying at his house, that he gave me some great insight. He taught me a lot of great things, you know, a lot of good things on how to grow. Another good one is you know, if you want to live a happy life, Michael, remember that there's two types of business in this world. There's your business, and there's none of your effing business. You know, what other people are doing, what other people are saying about you, who's talking about you, it doesn't matter. Who's doing better at work than you are, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
The only business is how you're showing up every day. That's the only business you got. And that business is literally between you and God, man. That's not between anybody else. You know, unless you're married, you got a wife or kids, you know, some people that count on you that you're responsible for, or, you know, because a man's job, it's as thankless as many men think it is, you know, our job is two things. It's to provide for our families and protect our families. That's it. You know, provide for and protect, and that's the growth. When you grow, and you continue. That's the great thing is that growth doesn't stop. You know, because I can always be getting better. I can always learn more. I can always continue to further my education about something else. You know, it's how I got to where I'm at, you know, from going from just being a blue-collar kid working in the trades to working in radio and being in films to then being a six-figure salesman, then being, you know, where I'm at today with my current role, and then doing obviously this. You know, it's been a lot of growth. 54 years of growth, you know. I mean, you think of how many different, so, you know, if you look at everything in decades, in 10-year increments, you know, your first 10 years were this, your second 10 years were this, your third 10 years, which is your 30s, which you're just starting right now, you know, I mean, this decade you could use to really define your next path.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and then when you get to be your 40s, which is the perfect age, man, because then that's when you're accomplished, you're feeling good. Everything you thought you couldn't do, you've already done, or at least you're on your way to doing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that a lot of people in early recovery, and it's why they say in the meetings, don't leave until you see the miracle happen, till the miracle happens, you know. And the funny thing is you never see your miracle happen. We get to witness your miracle, but the thing is that, man, I see so many people that leave so early. You know, 30, 60, 96 months, 9 months, you know, they're halfway there. I've even seen people walk out at 18 months because they couldn't get the job they want, the boyfriend or girlfriend they wanted, you know, couldn't get their kids back when they wanted them. And it's like, fuck it, why am I doing all this? But you got to keep going.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. You know, pain is weakness leaving the body. You know, it's we have to go through, we all have to have a little bit of pain. You have to experience a small portion of pain to grow, and that's hence why the old adage of growing pains. I mean, we've all heard it. You know, it's the same thing in lifting weights. You know, you lift, you push heavy. You're in pain for the next 3 days in your biceps or your backs or your triceps or whatever. And those are but then all of a sudden, you know, 3 to 4 to 5 months later, all of a sudden you look at the gains you have and you look at how good you look, and you're like, well, shit, that was no pain, no gain. Yeah, it makes sense. And you know, unless you got juice, and then you just shoot that in there, instant bigness. You know, here you go. Just got to eat 3,000 calories and maintain a chicken sweet potato diet every day for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Yeah. And you know, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, those are the 3 G's that are the most important, man. God, gratitude, and growth. Those are things that take us to where we're going. And, you know, and then you get to enjoy the fun stuff, like last night. I mean, great example. I mean, we're all sitting around watching UFC.
Yep.
All night last night. Watching Bilal Muhammad just get destroyed by Jack Della Maddalena. God bless him. God bless those New Zealanders, man. Just pulling out championships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. What do you think was the most? What do you think was the wildest time while you were out there? You know, what was the most? What was the craziest thing you had been a part of or had happen?
When me and my girl broke up, Emily. I think this was when I was living out of the car.
Oh, you're living out of the car, head.
Yeah, it was
mobile accommodations.
in my car.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it was this guy.
Just rolling.
This guy, he was in Pittsburgh in prison, so I was sleeping in his car.
Just borrowing it.
Yeah, I was
taking up residence.
Yeah, I didn't have the keys or nothing. It was just unlocked, so I was.
How'd you know it was unlocked?
Because
one of your friends said, "Hey, he's in prison. You check it out. The door's open.
Yeah,
you can crash it."
The door was open, so I was sleeping in there, and like behind my buddy, he lived in like a house that had like 4 units in it, and there was kind of like this.
When was this? What time of year was this? Was this winter?
I think.
Winter, summer, spring?
This was summer.
Summer. Oh, so it was hot.
Yeah. So then
Can't roll down the windows either.
yeah.
Oh, it's a steamer.
Yeah, so this was like when I was at the lowest and I was just doing whatever. I was going to abandoned buildings, cutting. I would take a tester up there and I would test going from the box on the telephone pole to the thing. I would test the thing.
The line?
And I would go and cut down all the copper telephone wire. And there was like copper in there like that thick. And yeah, I would climb up the telephone pole and cut them and then go up to the top of the abandoned building.
Where'd you get the cutters?
Cut 'em I borrowed them from this guy Jack.
Another guy in the trades with you?
He's like
the drug
60-year-old
trades
guy that smoked crack.
Perfect.
So he was
yeah.
I used his cutters and then
Hey, Jack, take these all down the street with you. Take them over to the abandoned building.
yeah, so I would do stuff like that. Anywhere I'd see an abandoned building, I would test the stuff, and then I was stealing cars. I learned how to steal cars out there. I was stealing cars for people, and yeah, it's just and this was all in like a 6-month span.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was just doing whatever and robbing people and just it was wild times. I didn't shower for like
There you go.
I didn't shower for like 4 weeks.
4 weeks?
Yeah, I had 2 mismatched boots and no clothes. That's how I was living. I just didn't care.
Just a spell. Little spell.
Yeah.
No showering.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat for like a couple days at a time, and yeah, it was crazy.
When you weren't with your girlfriend at this time?
No, I wasn't with her, and
Yeah, because I mean, you probably smelled like a yak.
yeah,
That had to be terrible.
yeah, it was crazy. I just did whatever, no matter how grimy or crazy it was. It was just
Surviving on the street.
yeah, just whatever I had to do, stealing.
Chirac. Totally.
Yeah, the east side of Cleveland's no joke.
Yeah.
No joke over there.
Yeah, people, you haven't seen the hood till you've been over to a couple places over there's some really
Walk down the street at like 2 in the morning. You know,
On
I'd be
fire.
out there all night, and it's just all yours. Pop, 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 pop. It's crazy.
it's amazing the lives we lead.
Yeah.
And then the amazing the lives we lead after the lives we've led. You know, it's but I mean, let me ask you this question: so when you sleep at night, how are your dreams? Do you relive any of that? Do you have nightmares about that stuff or
I
anything?
don't have nightmares, but during the day I'll get the memories though. Like I'll just be sitting there. If my mind's not occupied, it goes back to like that. It's not about me wanting to use it. It's just that I don't have a lot of memories that aren't getting fucked up. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I'll just be sitting here and then my mind just goes there to those times, and I like relive them in my head, and it's just I have to snap myself out of it and pray. I got to do whatever I got to do. You know what I mean?
To get out of the anxiety.
Yeah. Sometimes it's so bad I clench my teeth, and because it really wasn't that long ago. So it's
No.
you know, it's still fresh.
Yeah. But even if it was 3 years ago, that's still it's not that far. And the thing is you haven't made enough new memories to wash away the old memories. So those old memories are those traumas, as I like to call them, those traumas that you went through and experienced. They still sit there. The great thing is and like you heard me speak when I was in Maryland, is that those traumas don't define you. What they do is they refine you and help you to realize, like, man, wow, that was, that anxiety that I'm feeling right now, I never want to feel that way again. I don't ever want to go through that. And trust me, I had my own stuff that I would go through, man, and it was, I've had drug dealers pull guns on me and tell me to get off their porch at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm banging on their windows.
Yeah.
I'll kill you if you don't leave. I'm like, can I get $20 for gas? Because I'm on E.
Yeah.
It came all the way here. Yeah. Oh, dude, it would be frustrating. Some people didn't have a lot of tolerance, patience, or love for the kid when he would show up at 4 in the morning, looking for a piece. Bro, come on, man, you can front me till Saturday.
Or front and gas money to get back home.
Yeah. I need a front and I need $20. And then the wife would come to the door and drop 2 little nuggets in my hand and hand me a 10.
Yeah.
And 10 was just enough to get me back to the crib, and then I would be stuck there, waiting till payday, having to get a ride to work or do whatever.
That's terrible.
Oh, it was rough. It was super rough, and then driving city vehicles and getting in accidents, where I've been up for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Going to work and everybody's like, man, you're losing weight, man. What are you on, cocaine? No, bro. Eating clean, going to the gym. Yeah, that's how I look so good. Little do you know, don't let me take the shirt off and let you get a peek at the bird cage. Got 2 canaries floating around in this thing, It was, it was tough. It was, definitely wasn't pleasant, and everybody knows. That's the crazy thing is that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like the minute you are using, like the minute I was using anything, even if I had like Shauna would know I was drinking after the 3rd beer.
Yeah.
Like if I had but if I had gone out and I had 2 beers, or I go like after work at the city and I would stop over at my buddy Wesley's house or wherever, and I'd have like 2 or 3 beers, when I got home or she got home, she'd be like, "You been drinking?"
Yeah.
I'd be like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You're just loud and you're acting a certain way." And I'd be like, I had a beer over. Yeah, you didn't have a beer.
Yeah.
And that was the crazy thing about alcoholism and drug addiction. Like my alcoholism was completely different than my drug addiction. My drug addiction was so much more conniving and so much sneakier and so much darker
Yeah.
than just. But I take that back because even my alcoholism, like when we were in PA in 2015. Dude, there were blackout moments that I don't even remember that my wife has on videotape, and she's like, "Dude, if you ever think of picking up a drink again, please let me know so I can show you the video, of yourself in 2015 and what you were really like." And I was just like, "Wow, it was really heavy." It was. I've never seen the video, and I told her to this day I don't want to see the video. I don't need to I already remember what a piece of shit I was then, so I don't need to be reminded of it.
Yeah.
So that's why every day I try to live and be the best version of myself, and that's why we live where we live and why we do what we do, and why I am where I am. Is a lot of work, a lot of God, a lot of gratitude, a lot of growth,
Yeah.
And then I surround myself with like-minded people. You know who my people are. You see the circles I run with. I run with guys that are successful and chasing the same successes that I chase, and that want to live the same great life that I'm trying to live every day. Again, one day at a time though. I wake up at 7, and I go to bed at 10, 10:30, 11. And so do the math on that. It's 5 plus 11, 16 hours I'm awake, man. It's literally, if you're a struggling addict right now, that's all you have to stay clean is 16 hours. Depending on how many hours you're up in the morning, like depending on what time you get up and depending on what time you go to bed, if you can stay abstinent between that window, if you can stay absent between that window of time, so between the time you get up and the time you go to bed, you have a pretty good chance of staying clean. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
And that's how, that's what I used to tell you in Silver Maple, man. It's just keep it in the window, keep it simple.
Yep.
Quit telling yourself it's a whole day. Like a whole day sounds like forever. You say it's a few hours at a time, man. If I could just stay clean for an hour.
I had to go minute by minute.
Sometimes.
Do you remember how much I was calling you in there?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
I remember how much you were calling me in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Both times detoxing. I was just, dude, I had to take it 10 minute by 10 minutes. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
If I tried to look that far ahead, it seemed like too long, and it made me want to leave.
Yeah, well, you were at a point where you were going to leave.
Yeah.
You were at a point, and they were just like, "Jake, just stay for 10 more minutes, man. Stay." Yeah, whoever that counselor was you had there.
It was all of them that were great.
One was awesome, though. The one lady, I forget.
Aileen, I think
her name was, she was super cool.
Yeah.
I remember talking to her on the phone, and she was very supportive of you.
Yeah.
You were like one of her favorite people at that rehab.
Well, they know me there, from
Yeah.
9 times there. I only successfully completed it once. I get in there for 4 days, 3 days. As soon as I'm uncomfortable, gone.
Yeah.
So that time, I stayed and paid off, obviously.
Yeah, it's paying dividends.
Yeah.
You look at all the court stuff you've cleared up. Obviously you got one thing that is just holding you back, and it's only because we made the mistake of getting you a South Carolina's driver's license like an idiot.
Yeah.
But that time is very short, and then a whole new life is going to begin after that, as you already know, and I already know.
Yep.
So that's the great thing is that here's what I can tell you with the 3 G's, the God, the gratitude, and the growth is that I see the God that works in your life. I know the gratitude you have in your heart every day. because I see the things you do around here. And don't think it ever goes unnoticed. I mean, that stuff, the stuff you do. I mean, you get up in the morning, you're doing dishes, unloading the dishwasher. I mean, doing floors, taking the dog out. I mean, it's just like I see this stuff, and I'm just like, man, nobody asked you to do that, and you just do it, and it's really good. And dude, trust me, the jobs are going to come. Everything's going to come. You're going to have a career within the next year.
Yep.
And, this time next year, we'll be sitting here, and you'll be like, it'll be a completely different story.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't wait to see what May 11th of 2026 is going to look like, because, it'll be different. It'll hit different. And then, of course, in June, you'll be off your SR22, and that hits even different than the next thing, because now your insurance is going to be even cheaper, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So you got a lot of great things going for you, man. The good news is no matter whatever bad happens in your life, just don't ever lose your sense of humor.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are the cool things. So that's it for us tonight. You can always check us out at shotofhope.live. That's the website. We post the episodes there after here. If you want to watch it, you can watch it on our Facebook. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Shot of Hope Live. You can find us on Amazon Music at Shot of Hope Live. What else do we have? Amazon. iTunes or for our podcasts on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on there. We're on the TuneIn app. Just say, talk to your Alexa and say, Shot of Hope Live. I think there's an app. You can get the app depending on, I think when you go to the website, there's an opportunity you can download the app to your phone. So if you miss anything, you can get it on your phone. You can listen there. And you can always call us, 803-526-7858. Man, it's Shot of Hope Live. We'll see you guys next week. Probably going to have a guest next week, so but I'll surprise you with that. Maybe if you want to go to the Facebook page, Shot of Hope Live, and then like the page or follow us, and I'll keep you up to date with everything on there. I got cool memes over there. I'm always posting cool reels, stuff like that from other famous people in recovery. Just posted one from Nikki Sixx on there that was really good this morning. So yeah. Keep in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also email us at shotofhopeshow@gmail. Shotofhopeshow@gmail. If you want to be a guest on the show, whatnot, let us know. Because all I do is I'll send you a link to your email. And when I click on that link, I'll put up a window up right where you can, if you're watching the video right now, right where that iHeartRadio thing is at the bottom of the screen. I can pop that up and put a window in there, and you can be a guest virtually on the show. So if you want to be a guest, let us know. shotofhopeshow@gmail.com. You can also hit us up at the website at shotofhope.live. You guys have a great, happy Mother's Day weekend, what's left of your Sunday, and live on, love on.